कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय राघवा जय कुंज जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना यमुनातीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी यशोदानन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना यमुनातीरावनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan. Jaya Jagannatha Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadramai. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Vishnupada Param Sprakaracharya Ashtotar Satasya Shishimad His Divine Grace His Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Shri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki All Gurus Assembled Devotees, All Gurus Assembled Devotees, All Gurus Assembled Devotees, All Gurus, All Gurus, All Gurus to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye. Nashtaprayesha bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatiruttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Dev Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 22, Prithu Maharaj's meeting with the four Kumaras. Text number 14. Bhavatsu Kushala Prashna Atma Rameshu Neshyate Kushala Kushala Yatra Nashanti Mati Vrittaya. Bhavatsu Kushala Prashna Atma Rameshu Neshyate Kushala Kushala Yatra Nashanti Mati Vrittaya. Bhavatsu Kushala Prashna Atma Rameshu Neshyate Kushala Kushala Yatra Nashanti Mati Vrittaya. Nashanti Mati Vrittaya. Vatsu Kushala Prashna Atma Rameshu Neshyate Kushala Kushala Yatra Shanti Mati Vrittaya. Any Matajis? Word to word meaning. Pavatsu, onto you. Kushala, good fortune. Prashna, question. Atma Arameshu, one who is always engaged in spiritual bliss. Na Ishyate, there is no need of. Kushala, good fortune. Akushalaha, inauspiciousness. Yatra, where. Na, never. Shanti, exists. Mati Virtayaha, mental concoction. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Prithu Maharaj continued, my dear sirs, there is no need to ask about your good and bad fortune because you are always absorbed in spiritual bliss. The mental concoction of the auspicious and inauspicious does not exist in you. Purport. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Antilila 4.176 it is said, Dvaite bhadra bhadra gnana savamano dharma ye bhala ye manda ye sabha brahma. In this material world, the auspicious and inauspicious are simply mental concoctions because such things exist only due to association with material world. This is called illusion or Atma Maya. We think ourselves created by material nature exactly as we think ourselves experiencing so many things in a dream. The spirit soul, however, is always transcendental. There is no question of becoming materially covered. This covering is simply something like an hallucination or a dream. In Bhagavad Gita 2.62, it is also said, Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha. Simply by association, we create artificial material necessities. Dhyayato Vishyan Pumsha Sangasteshopajayate. When we forget our real constitutional position and wish to enjoy the material resources, our material desires manifest, and we associate with varieties of material enjoyment. As soon as the concoctions of material enjoyment are there, because of our association, we create a sort of lust or eagerness to enjoy them. And when that false enjoyment does not actually make us happy, we create another illusion known as anger. And by the manifestation of anger, the illusion becomes stronger. When we are illusioned in this way, forgetfulness of our relationship with Krishna follows. And by thus losing Krishna consciousness, our real intelligence is defeated. In this way, we become entangled in this material world. In Bhagavad Gita 2.63, it is said, Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibramaha, smriti bhramshat buddhinasho, buddhinashat pranashyati. By material association, we lose our spiritual consciousness. Consequently, there is a question of the auspicious and inauspicious. But those who are Atma Rama or self-realized have transcended such questions. Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai Ki Jai. The Atma Ramas or self-realized persons, gradually making further progress in spiritual bliss, come to the platform of association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the perfection of life. In the beginning, the Kumaras were self-realized impersonalists, but gradually they became attracted to the personal pastimes of the Supreme Lord. The conclusion is that for those who are always engaged in the devotional service of this Personality of Godhead, the duality of auspicious and inauspicious does not arise. Prithu Maharaj is therefore asking about auspiciousness, not for the sake of Kumaras, but for his own sake. Om Yajnanatimirandasya Grananchana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatadeshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurasve Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarumbhascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangul langayate girim Yat kripaha tamham bande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam. So before I start speaking, I seek the blessings of His Grace Anandamai Prabhu and all the assembled Vaishnavas so that I can glorify the Supreme Lord for my purification. So in this section of Srimad Bhagavatam, we are seeing Prithu Maharaj. He was performing the 100 sacrifice, and Indra was again coming and disturbing. But on the order of the superiors, he stopped that sacrifice for the pleasure of the Lord. So although he did not perform the sacrifice, but still the Lord appeared there because of his sacrifice. So sometimes sacrificing something is also pleasing to the Lord. Yeah. So and then after that, the Lord instructs Prithu Maharaj, and then Lord leaves. Lord was not willing to leave his association because he was so pleased by Prithu Maharaj's qualities. It is actually from that we can understand how it's actually the devotion or the qualities of the devotees that attracts the Lord. And after that, Prithu Maharaj is instructing all his citizens in the previous chapter. And then during that time, these 4 Kumaras, they come. So then Prithu Maharaj is actually glorifying them. And through this, he is also teaching all of us how we should receive great souls and also how we should serve them and how we should glorify them. So today in this particular verse, Prithu Maharaj is saying that there is no need to ask about your good and bad fortune because you are always absorbed in spiritual bliss. The mental concoction of auspicious and inauspiciousness does not exist in you. So here, when you talk about auspicious and inauspiciousness, this is in terms of material auspiciousness and inauspiciousness. So generally for a conditioned soul, whatever gives sense gratification, material happiness, he considers that as auspiciousness. He may perform karma kanda, he may give some charity, he may do some tapasya, but if it is all oriented for one's own sense gratification, it is shramaya kevalam, dharma swanishtita pumsham vishwakshena katasvayat notpadayed etiratim shramaya kevalam. So Krishna consciousness means actually removing ourselves from the center and keeping Krishna in the center. So generally people think that by doing charity or all these things, it is very auspicious and we get the results. We get some material benefit out of that. But actually even when doing charity or tapasya or all those activities, generally they are selfish. So even in that they are thinking about themselves, their own benefits, either grossly or subtly. So even if someone is giving charity, if he is thinking that I am giving and is proud about that, not understanding that actually Krishna is the real owner, is the real controller. So, but if he tries to make people feel that I am the well-wisher of everyone. So that's why even we see when Quresh was giving charity and Mother Lakshmi, when she hears from others that so many people are standing in line for charity, to receive that charity, once she was curious to meet Quresh. So when Quresh was called by Mother Lakshmi, so Quresh felt that actually I am not being called by Mother Lakshmi for my devotion, but for my charity. So he left that place feeling that no, I am very proud that I am a big person and I am giving charity like that. So that's the mood of the devotees, even when giving charity. So here Prithu Maharaj is saying that the devotees of the Lord are fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. So they are not affected by the auspicious and inauspicious things of this world. So Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkada, Agama Apayano Anityas, Tam Stitikshasya Bharata. So, whatever dualities are there, happiness, distress, success, failure, this is just because of the senses coming in contact with the sense objects of this world. So, one should learn to tolerate all these dualities of this material world. It's only a mental concoction. So, but the devotees of the Lord, because they are absorbed in Krishna consciousness, so they are not affected by these dualities. So, when in case any happiness comes, a devotee feels that actually this is mercy of the Lord. I don't deserve this. So he is grateful to the Lord. And when distress comes, he thinks that actually I deserve more punishment. Tatenu kampam susimikshumana bunjano evatma sukritam vipaga vidvaga buddhir vividam namaste jivetaya mukti sadaye bak. So Brahmaji says that actually a devotee of the Lord, when he is put in distress, he feels that actually for my sinful activities, I need more punishment. But Lord is so kind that he is giving me so little punishment. So in spite of being kept in that situation, the devotee offers his mind, words, body, everything in service of the Lord. So such a person is eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. So because a devotee of the Lord is always taking shelter of the Lord, he is not affected. So even when success comes, so apparently the devotee sees that this is also mercy of the Lord. He is grateful to the Lord. He is grateful to all the devotees who have helped him in that success. He never takes credit. So, but people in general, they want to take credit for themselves. Then they fall in illusion. And when failure comes, he doesn't say this is because of Lord. He feels that actually I have not put my best efforts and I need to do more endeavor. And ultimately it's Lord's arrangement. Whatever Lord arranges, I'm happy with it. He is not distressed feeling that why Lord did like this. Or why I put my best, but still why Lord is not giving. He doesn't demand. Because he understands, Bhoktaram Ignatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Everything is under his control. And he is the enjoyer of all the benefits, all the things. So everything is meant for his enjoyment, not for my enjoyment. So someone was asking recently, His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj, that Maharaj, I don't get happiness in chanting. I don't feel happy. It appears to be very miserable. So Maharaj said, it's not meant for your pleasure. It's meant for Krishna's pleasure. Chanting. So yeah, it's when we chant nicely, obviously the soul is blissful. Susukam kartum avayam. This process is very blissful process. But we should always remember that we are meant to do devotional service for Krishna's pleasure, not for our pleasure. Generally, we are more worried that whether I am getting pleasure or not. The soul is naturally seeking pleasure, but when you please Krishna, automatically you get pleased. That is the main thing. But if you are more focused on your pleasure, so you are not watering the root. Yata taror mula nishechanena tripyanti tatskanda bhujopashaka prano parach yatendriyanam tataiva sarvaranam achyuteja. So if you water the root of the tree, automatically the branches, leaves, everything gets watered. If you feed the stomach, automatically the legs, hands, everything gets nourished. So if you please the Lord, automatically you will be happy, blissful. So that should be our focus. But if our focus is about my own pleasure, then we will never be happy. Because we will be always in anxiety. Why I am not getting happiness? So these are all simply material concoctions. Prabhupada is mentioning this is just illusion. Okay. So Prabhupada is mentioning when we actually associate with the material world, we identify with this body. Aham mameti. I am this body and everything in relation with this body is mine. Okay. So, and what gives happiness to this body and mind is auspicious. And what doesn't give happiness to this body and mind is inauspicious. If people glorify me, it is auspicious because I get happiness, right? And if people don't glorify me, it is inauspicious, right? So, but a devotee of the Lord, he never doesn't hanker for any gross or subtle sense gratification. In fact, even if he is criticized, he is very happy. We see Ramanujan's follower, I forgot his name, when he was being criticized, actually every day he would go before the Lord and he would tell his own faults before the Lord. And one day, one envious person who was envious of this devotee, so he came there and he was criticizing him before the Lord. No, so he would say that no, he's like this, and then he would say no. Actually, when he would tell to the Lord that I am very envious, that person would say Satyam, no, the envious person. So finally, this devotee told that, see, Lord, every day I am telling my faults and you're not accepting. Today I have a proof. No, please, no, please accept or understand that I am so fallen. So that is a mood of the devotees of the Lord. They are more eager to hear their own faults than the glorification. So here Prabhupada is mentioning that this material covering is like a hallucination or a dream. So actually we so much identify with this body. Just like a dream is so temporary, right? In the night we sleep and we get some dreams and that's all, we forget it. When we get up, we completely forget it, right? We no longer start contemplating. Sometimes people contemplate if it is very bad dream, but in general, it comes and goes, right? We don't so much think about those things. Same way this material body, all the things of this world, Prabhupada is saying it's like a hallucination or a dream. Basically, we should not be so much attached to this body or the things or people of this world. But we take it so seriously. So that's why we get affected by the dualities of this material world. So the only reality is Krishna. Krishna, soul, and its eternal loving relationship with Krishna. That is the only reality. But when we forget that, then we fall in illusion. So another point Prabhupada is mentioning, Dhyayato Vishyan Pumsha Sangasteshopajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodha. So when the conditioned soul, because he has a desire to enjoy, so although Lord is a supreme enjoyer, he wants to be the enjoyer. He wants to be the controller. So when he starts contemplating on the sense objects, so then he develops attachment for them by contemplation. So, and then when he actually wants to enjoy because of that attachment, then lust develops. The desire to enjoy, lust. So actually a sadhaka has to be very, very alert. He has to stop the contemplation. When the mind starts contemplating, the mind has a strong conditioned nature to enjoy. That samskaras are there from so many lifetimes. So a sadhaka, if he is very alert, then he can stop his mind right at the time of contemplation. But otherwise, if you don't stop there, then you develop attachment and eventually lust will develop. So just like a child, suppose if he goes to a mall and he sees some nice toy or something, so he may start contemplating, oh, nice, something new. So it looks very attractive. So then he starts contemplating on it, that I want it. So he develops attachment. So, and the desire to enjoy it, have it, comes in his mind. So then he starts asking his parents, no, I want it. So if the parents say that no, this is very costly or it's not required for you, then what happens? Anger. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. Right? So anger will come. Because when lust is unfulfilled, right, then anger comes. And krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibramaha. So one actually falls in illusion. He doesn't understand in anger. What is he doing? That's what we see. People in anger, they don't understand what they are doing. Right? Sometimes we see that excessive anger. They beat or take up anything, and sometimes even people kill because of too much anger. And he completely forgets who he is and what is he supposed to do because of that anger. So same, just like the child, we may think, okay, child is like that, but actually we are also like that. Maya gives us different toys, shows different toys in this material world according to the person's nature. The child's nature, he likes toys, but same according to our anarthas or the material propensities we carry in our mind, Maya keeps on showing, and this material world is like a mall, and Maya shows various toys, different varieties of foods, opposite sex, all kinds of social media, right? So Maya exactly knows, what to show and when to show also, right? And exactly it catches the person according to his weakness. And when the person actually starts contemplating on those sense objects, it develops attachment and he wants to enjoy that. So that's the problem. So when we forget who we are and what is our relationship with the Supreme Lord, and how all the sense objects of this world are temporary and illusory, then we fall prey into all the sense objects of this world. But if we again remember by studying Srila Prabhupada books and by purifying our consciousness by chanting, then we will actually realize our constitutional position, and also we realize that all these things in this material world are temporary and illusory. Why I should be attracted by all these temporary illusory things of this world? So that's how we can come out of this illusions created by Maya. So another thing Prabhupada is mentioning here is that the Atma Ramas, the self-realized persons, so they are not affected by the dualities. So here the Kumaras Prabhupada is mentioning, so they are actually elevated to the platform of Brahman, but when actually we know the past time when they came to Vaikuntha doors and they smelled the aroma from the lotus feet of the Lord, the Tulsi aroma from the lotus feet of the Lord. So that time they could actually realize how the Lord is a person, and they had that realization of the absolute truth properly. So even the Atma Ramas, so they are not, it's not that they are satisfied and they stop hearing the glories of the Lord. So in one verse it is mentioned that even the Atma Ramas, they keep hearing again the glories of the Lord, because the glories of the Lord are so amazing that even the Atma Ramas are so eager to hear. So if we also want to come out of this dualities created by this material world, we should be absorbed in devotional service, and we should elevate ourselves in Krishna consciousness. So Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. So when you develop that higher taste in Krishna consciousness, automatically you give up the lower taste of this world. So we should endeavor to develop that higher taste in one of the 9 process of devotional service. So whatever we have attachment for in the 9 process of devotional service, we should try to do those activities again and again so that we can develop that higher taste. So yesterday was the day when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. So I thought of also discussing about it. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So he want to experience that bliss which Srimati Radharani is experiencing while serving Krishna. So he felt that what is that, that she is so blissfully, experiencing. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this Kali Yuga, he wanted to deliver all the conditioned souls. But when he was as a Grihastha in Nadia, he saw that the simple people, they were taking to the chanting of the holy names. But there were some scholars who were not surrendering to the Supreme Lord. They were not willing to take up the chanting process. So once Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in the mood of gopis in separation from Krishna, he was chanting Gopi Gopi, and some people started criticizing him. Why is he doing like this? So Lord Chaitanya starts chasing them with a stick. So then he feels that actually the reason I came to this world, to this material world, in this way is not getting fulfilled, because many people are still not surrendering to the Supreme Lord. So then he decides to take sannyas, because he feels that if I take sannyas, then even these people who are not surrendering, they will offer their obeisances, and that's how they will at least start their process of devotional service. So first Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells this news to Nityananda Prabhu, that he has a desire to take sannyas. So Nityananda Prabhu was completely shocked to hear that news, because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had widowed mother Sachi Mata. So already his father, Lord Chaitanya's father, Jagannath Mishra, just left some time back. Also his elder brother Vishwarup also left home. So Sachi Mata, her only shelter was Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And previously only they had requested him that he should not leave home. So Sachi Mata, she is Mother Yashoda, and she has so much love for, it is considered she has the love of all the mothers, means much more than that. So much love she has for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord Nityananda Prabhu was contemplating about Mother Sachi, how she will feel so much pain in separation of Lord Chaitanya. And also Vishnu Priya, his wife, she was only 14 or 16-year-old, very young, very chaste and beautiful. But Lord Chaitanya, just at the age of 24, he was willing to take sannyas. So just thinking about all that, Lord Nityananda Prabhu felt great pain. But to please the Lord, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told not to tell everyone, just tell few devotees about his taking sannyas. So somehow, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to take sannyas, many devotees also come to know about that. Even Mother Sachi also comes to know about that. But Lord Chaitanya consoles her, and on the last day, he receives from Sridhar Kolavecha pumpkin, and he requests, what do you call that? Pumpkin only, huh? Yeah. So, and he tells Mother Sachi to make kheer out of that and give him. So Lord Chaitanya informs his mother and also his wife. They feel so much separation from him. But still, Lord Chaitanya was very determined because his mission was mission of compassion. So, in order to deliver the conditioned souls of this Kali Yuga, uh, so he was ready to undergo any pain. Obviously, leaving her widowed mother and young wife was very, very difficult. But still, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord. He is showing his opulence of renunciation here. Uh, so, and there were so many loving devotees who were so much loving him in Nadia, but he wanted to leave all that. So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the early morning hours before anybody rises, he wanted to leave his home. So, when he just was coming out of the house, the veranda, his mother Sachi was waiting. She knew that Lord was actually going to leave. So again, Lord Chaitanya consoles her and says that whatever love I have for the Supreme Lord, it's only because of you. And he tells her to bless him. And then by the inconceivable arrangement of the Lord, she agrees. And finally, Lord Chaitanya leaves his home. So he swims across Ganges and walks all the way to Katwa. So there, actually, he wanted to take sannyas from Keshav Bharati, who was coming in the Mayavad Sampradaya, because that time that was famous. And initially, seeing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and hearing, already he came to know about that this Nimai is going to take sannyas. So he was not willing to give sannyas. But Lord Chaitanya, actually seeing that, he starts ecstatic kirtan there, and he makes everyone forget what is going to happen. And meanwhile, he also tells his guru Keshav Bharati, he actually initiates him by telling the mantra in his ears, and then he tells him, you please repeat that and give me sannyas. So, and when the barber who was supposed to cut the hair, when he sees the hair of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he feels that his hands were shaking and he was not willing to cut his hair. They were so beautiful. So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually, it's mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Ajanu Lambita Bujau, Kanakavadato, Sankirtano Pitaro, Kamayataksho, Vishwambharo Dvijavaro, Yugadharma Palo, Vande Jagat Priyakaro, Karunavataro. So he had very long hands, almost reaching the knees, and he had lotus-like eyes, and his bodily complexion is golden, and he is a father of the Sankirtan movement, and he is so much loved by the devotees. So, although he had everything, but still Lord wanted to renounce, this all the material relationships. So that barber was not willing, but upon request of the Lord, he finally cuts that hair, and he decides that I will never cut anybody else's hair. So eventually, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes sannyas from Keshav Bharati, and he starts ecstatic kirtan. Both the guru and disciple, they start dancing in great ecstasy. So, from this pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can learn that how, for the sake of his mission of compassion, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is ready to give up anything of this world. Right? So same way, we should also actually develop that mood of compassion for the conditioned souls. So, but we should also have compassion on ourselves also. Means Janma Sardha Kari Karaparapukar. First, we should show compassion for ourselves by doing good sadhana, and then because of that, when our hearts are filled with Krishna Prem, then we can share that love with others. So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to this world to give us the greatest gift, Golokera Premadana Harinam Sankirtan. It is the greatest gift which Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving all of us. But we should always contemplate that, okay, this pastime is very good, very nice to hear, but how we are receiving this gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in our own lives, that is also very, very important. Because Lord, He's making so much sacrifice and giving us this holy name, right? And He is giving the wealth of the spiritual world for all of us. So are we really taking it seriously, or we are just neglecting it, right? So our gratitude for the Lord is expressed by how we receive that mercy in our own lives with a grateful heart and sincerely endeavoring to take that gift in a serious way. So like when we chant the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So every day we chant the holy names at least for 2 hours on our beats, and also we perform Sankirtan for the pleasure of the Lord. So we are supposed to be actually Kirtaniya Sadahari, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam, 24 hours engaged in glorifying the Lord. But at least the time when we are actually chanting, actually our love for the Lord is expressed by how we are sincerely endeavoring, right, in chanting the holy names, right? So sometimes we put so much endeavor, like we see in book distribution or in different services, we put so much endeavor, right? But sometimes we actually fail to put even 1% or 10% of that endeavor in chanting, right? So then that means actually we are not taking that gift of the Lord so seriously. Even in devotional service, we are more worried about the results. In the sense, the fruitive mentality is very strong. What pleases me, what gives me name and fame, I'll put best efforts. And what doesn't give me that immediate results or name and fame, I'll not put so much endeavor. So once one devotee was telling, why we don't put so much endeavor in chanting? Because he was telling that nobody recognizes apart from the Lord, right? Or nobody is announcing, or right? Not so much you get glorified for that. But whereas book distribution or preaching, so there is so much of what we call demand, or in the sense one feels that I get so much recognized for these things. So then we start actually putting endeavors in those things where we get pleasure, where we get sense gratification, subtly. Right? But where we actually are supposed to please the Lord and purify our heart, right? There we don't put sufficient endeavors. And we remain as it is. Bhagavad Gita as it is, and we are also as it is. In the sense, even after many years, we still sleep in japa, still our mind keeps wandering because of mode of passion and ignorance, right? So if we really want to make advancement and please the Lord, so this is where we have to endeavor. This is where you want to show. You want to show in so many other places, right? But we don't want to show to the Lord that I want to please you by putting my best efforts in this. So sometimes we plan so much, we make so much plans for some projects or for different things. So definitely we have to do that. That is also service to the Lord. But unfortunately, sometimes we don't so much plan or think about our chanting or about our sadhana. Right? So if only we so much contemplate, and if we only plan so much about our sadhana, then definitely we will make so much progress. So, because what you receive is what you give, right? If you don't receive the mercy of the Lord, if you don't actually fill your heart with Krishna Prem, then what you will share, right? We cannot share much. Okay, Prabhupada definitely said we should share whatever we heard. But again, with a impure heart, then we, even while doing preaching, sometimes we see how some problems come up. So we should endeavor for chanting, we should also endeavor for preaching, because everything is service to Krishna. But if you only put endeavors in one, then it is fruitive mentality. So we have to come out of this fruitive mentality and understand that I am here to please the Lord. I am not here to just show off to people. Already I have been doing this in so many lifetimes, right? So I have come to ISKCON not for this. I have come to please the Lord, please the Lord by purifying my heart. So basically, we have to take this gift which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to give us, right? Golokera Premadana Harinam Sankirtana Ratina Janmilo Kenepai. So a devotee feels that Lord is so kind that he has given the treasure of the spiritual world, but I am so unfortunate. Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala. Etadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrisham Mihajani Nanuraga. So I am so unfortunate that I don't take to this process of chanting so seriously. So this is how we reciprocate with the Lord. That Lord, you are so kind. Although in Kali Yuga we are so fallen, so degraded, you are coming and giving this holy name with all your strength, with all your potencies to purify us and to elevate us. So let me also very seriously take this process of chanting holy names. Let me purify my heart. And that's how we actually fill our hearts with Krishna Prem. And automatically when our hearts are filled with Krishna Prem, we want to share that because naturally a devotee feels compassion for the suffering souls of this world. When he sees that actually they are suffering because of lack of Krishna consciousness. As Bhaktivedanta Thakur said, the only thing lacking in this world is Krishna consciousness, right? So when he experiences Krishna consciousness and he feels so much ecstatic bliss, then he feels that actually so many people in this world are suffering so much because of this. This is what is lacking in their lives. And he wants to share that that bliss which or that mercy he has received. So that is called compassion, right? So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samveta Gaura Bhaktavanda ki jai. So please pray that I also take this gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu seriously in my life. Hare Krishna. Questions? Okay. Maybe one question we can take. If anybody has.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, I have always seen that always with Krishna or with Vishnu, there is always Balram, Nityananda Prabhu accompanying with him. So what's the reason behind it?
Because Lord, just like we never want to be alone. Like suppose you are the only person in this world, how you will feel? So same way Lord is also person. So he always want to be with his devotees. Hare Krishna. So devotees want to be always in the association of devotees. Because in association of devotees, we can experience the bliss of Krishna consciousness. So we try to practice. That's why Krishna consciousness, not alone. We want to always practice Krishna consciousness in the association of devotees. Just like suppose Kirtan, you are alone. You are playing, so you feel, means we can do like that. It's not that sometimes you are alone also, you can sing for the pleasure of Lord. It's not that we are singing for others' pleasure. But in the association, it becomes more ecstatic. Okay? Hare Krishna. Yes, sir.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Thank you, Puruji, for nice class. As you were speaking about this Dhyata Vishyam Pumsa and how attachment develops and all, and eventually you spoke about how we should give our freedom mentality and should worry about pleasing the Lord. That so many times we all know what are our weaknesses and what are our attachments, and we hear in the class. But when the class gets over and as we go on the course of the day, then again all the responsibilities and the duties they take over as if like the waves of ocean. Till the time we again sit for the next Bhagavatam class and again here. So it becomes very difficult. And in our morning program also the Bhagavatam class is always after chanting. So suppose if we hear this before chanting, then okay. So we hear. Sometimes Japa talk we hear or reading, but generally now we heard now. But now when we'll go up in our ashram or preaching duties, then the day will flow like that. So point is that we know that we have these problems, but we have a tendency to forget. So are there some practical ways where we can always keep us remember and some practical ways to overcome these attachments, lower things which are pulling us? How to gradually rise above it?
Yeah. So, first of all, definitely we all have responsibilities, but we should always remember our primary responsibility. That is to awaken Krishna Prem. Dharma Sunishtita Pumshan Vishwakshena Katasuyat Notpade Dediratim Shamaye Kevalam. So, our primary responsibility is most important. So, if that is the focus, because what we focus on, we endeavor in that direction. So, generally, we focus on results for preaching. So, we endeavor, right? We put all our mind and heart and body, everything, and all our resources also, right? So, same way, what is our goal? Or, no? So, if our goal is clear, there is a saying also, no? When the goal is hazy, we go crazy, right? When our goal is clear, then we also put our efforts in that direction. So, actually, definitely we have to engage our mind, senses in various services to keep it engaged, right? So, but we should not forget our primary goal. So, if that primary goal is in center, then even while doing all that, we will be actually prayerful. In the sense, like even if you are preaching, if you are doing various other services, so we can still think about chanting. We can chant that time, even without mala. We can even be prayerful that Lord, I am doing this services, but let me not be fruitful. Means too much passionate. Let me do all these services for your pleasure and please give me taste for your holy name. So actually we have to come to mode of goodness for that, so that when we actually render services also, we are able to do in such a way that it is pleasing to the Lord, remembering the Lord. Like Krishna said to Arjuna, he said, Maam Anusmara Yuddhacha, that you remember me and fight. So, once Burijan Prabhu, he gave one service to one devotee, backup. So, that devotee was cleaning the vessels. So, he came and chastised him. So, he thought, why is chastising? I am doing nicely only. Then he said, why are you not chanting? While cleaning, means while doing that. So, he was shocked. I am supposed to chant also while doing this. He was like, means very, it was a new thing for him. So, generally we think that okay, my 16 rounds are over, so mid में अभी उसको उधर डाल दो, फिर मीन्स हो गया, अभी आज का कोटा हो गया, so no, Lord is not done for this day and I am starting my business. No, Lord's thing is over, now I am starting my business. But actually everything is for Krishna. Whether I am preaching or whether I am doing anything, that is ultimately I am doing for Krishna. So I am supposed to do those services in a Krishna conscious way, remembering Krishna. So devotee, it said, 22 hours is a preparation for 2 hours of chanting, 2 hours of exam. So how much we remember Lord in the remaining time in a pleasing way, that's how we'll be able to chant. So that's why even in the remaining part of the day, a devotee, and that's why we do sadhana, like we read Bhagavatam, we hear lectures, we study Prabhupada books, so that even while doing services, we do it in a Krishna conscious way. It helps us to come out of that fruitive mentality and do it in a Krishna conscious way. So, so after hearing the class, also like Rajan Prabhu says, we should contemplate how we can apply this in my own life, as we are already doing it. So, so we have to become more internalized, prayerful to the Lord while rendering services, so that we don't forget His remembrance. Because ultimately, Vapi Smaran Bhavam Tajante Antakalevaram. Right? We have to remember the Lord in a pleasing way. So, and that happens only by developing attachment to Him. So, even while rendering services, we can actually remember the Lord. Oh, see how amazing Lord arranged this thing, or how, in different things we can remember the Lord. So, that's how we actually become more attached and more Krishna conscious. So, we have to see Krishna's hand in our services. We have to learn to see Krishna's hand while rendering services. So for that we have to hear more and more. So, so like if we do book distribution, for example, if we are doing book distribution, so if somebody, even before going for distribution, we can pray to the Lord, pray to Prabhupada, seek their blessings, and then we can pray, please give me right words to explain to this person. And when a person takes also, we can be grateful. Lord, you inspired him from within to take this. So that way we can be very Krishna conscious. But if we are not so Krishna conscious, then we may not be like, we may just, today I'll show, I want to show how I am best distributor, or then it is more like materialistic or quite fruitive. So in that also there is purification. But it's not so much like, So for that, we have to hear more and more, so that we remain Krishna conscious even while rendering services. So then automatically you will be Krishna conscious in the chanting. Because we don't remain Krishna conscious in 22 hours, we are thinking about I and mine. Then while chanting also, I and mine. Okay, what will happen about this project, what will about this, or either mode of passion or mode of ignorance. So that sort same tendencies will flow in while chanting. So that's why, as I said in the beginning, our primary goal should be very clear, and our endeavor should also be in that direction, even while doing services. So then, when that change of consciousness is there in our words and actions and behavior, then automatically while chanting, that change will be there in our words and actions. Because Eyetamam Prapadante, Krishna reciprocates. It's not that whole day I'll do whatever I like and suddenly I'll chant nicely. No, it cannot happen. Even externally we may chant, we may be moving head and chanting, but internally we may be thinking of so many other things, because we have not given our heart to Krishna. We have not put our heart in Krishna. So these are few things I felt. His Grace Anand Maipru can share more. Okay, I think it's already late. Okay, bro. Thank you very much. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, सामवेद गौर भक्तवृंद की जय.